Hi everybody, it's Vicky with Get Messy. Today I'm going to paint a winter snowman and it's super cute. Hold on now and I'll bring it up so you can have a little peek. Look how cute that is. I know it's backwards, the words are backwards. All right, so the first thing that we always do, and I always say this in all my videos, is we always start with a damp brush. Not wet, just damp. So you're going to first of all, you're going to need a cup of water, paintbrushes, your paint, your canvas, and a piece of paper towel. So once you put your paintbrush into the water, just wipe it off on your paper towel a little bit so it's just damp and not wet. And then what I'm going to do is, so everybody's painting is their own painting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a little bit of blue and a little bit of white together on my brush, like this. So I have blue and white. So as you can see, there's blue and white on my brush at the same time. And what I'm going to do is go from one side to the other, really starting at the edge. If we start right here, so if I go across like this, I have a smooth line. If I go like this, I'm not going to have a nice smooth line that runs across. So go from side to side. And don't forget to come around the sides of your canvas as well. So again, some more white and some blue. And I'm just going to go right across. If you find that it is a little bit dry, you can add a little bit of water, but just a little bit. We really don't want much. Because if we have too much water, it's going to run and bleed into everything else. So you just want enough to smooth. If you feel more comfortable creating a blue on your palette, so this is my palette. If you want to create the lighter blue, you can, or you can just go with the blue and the white on your brush at the same time. So I'm going one end right to the other, and I'm going to do that right until I get to where I want my snow line to be. So just like so. So what I'm going to do now is create a line of where I want my snow to start. So if it's going to come around about here, then I'm going to go like that. So from here to here, I'm going to fill that in. And the sides. We're almost there. Just again adding a slight little amount of water just to help the paint to smooth. And I'm doing my sides. It's a cute little painting for the winter. So the colors that I'm using are a blue, and you can use whatever blue you like. I have a tropical blue, it's called, which is kind of brighter, but again, adding the white to it. And don't forget to come around the other side. So a lot of times you will get really good coverage with one coat, but if you want to do two coats to get really good coverage, you can. If you are going to do two coats, I suggest really making sure that it's completely dry. If it's not completely dry, you're just going to keep picking up that paint that's underneath, and you don't want that. I'm just going to pick this up a little bit here now so I can do the sides. There we go. And it does dry pretty quick. It's not too bad. All right. There we go. So I'm happy with how that looks. So the next thing, I'm going to clean out my brush really, really good. And wipe it off in the paper towel. Remember, we just want a damp brush, not a wet one. And then I'm going to dip into my white like this. And I'm going to start making that snow at the bottom. So if you look at snow and its reflection, it will be like a little hint of a blue reflection. All right, so I'm coming across and filling in. We're super busy here today. So we have some people in doing some painting and people picking up kits, and we're super duper busy here today, which is really good. So I know you can't really see that because it's white on white, but I'm going to wait for this to dry slightly. I don't want it to dry too much. If it dries too much, it'll be hard to pull that paint from side to side. So then I go in with a blue on my brush, and this you can see I've flattened it. You can see that. So I'm going to use it on its side. And what I'm going to do is just create some swirls throughout, like this. Super easy, nothing to it. This is a really super easy painting, which is nice. All right, so I'm happy with how that looks. Now, I do have to really make sure that it's dry before I start drawing on my snowman. So I'm going to hit pause here for a little bit. But I do want to remind you guys that there's no rush to get this done. You can pause this video at any point to catch up or let things dry, because it is very important to let things dry. So give us a minute. We'll be right back and we'll finish our beautiful snowman painting. All right, so now we are pretty much dry. Now what I'm going to do, because we just want the snow to kind of have a glisten of blue, I've washed out my brush really good. Took all the excess water off. Sometimes you have to reshape your brush while it's wet if you find that the bristles are starting to stick out. And what I'm going to do is just go in with just white this time. And I'm going to highlight areas just above, and see how I'm pulling that, and I'm going to pull the white across so that it kind of looks more like snow, just like that. Now remember, everybody paints differently, everybody has a different technique. I am only a guideline for you, so you can absolutely do your snow however you like. So see how I have this brush and I'm actually pulling it up as I go along. And what this is doing is it's pulling the paint or pushing the paint as I go. And I'll do a little close up there so you guys can see. So see that how it glistens, like so. All right. So now I'm going to draw the snowman. Now this part is totally up to you. I wouldn't normally draw it out, but I will just to make it simpler. I just have to bring up the picture again here. So what I would start with actually is the head. So I'm going to pick where I want the head to be. Your snowman could be anywhere. So I think I'm going to put mine about right here. Let's make them a little bigger. And remember, yours is yours. So yours could be anything. So I'm just going to do a rough circle like that. And then what I'm going to do is come along the side here. And it doesn't matter if you mess up or it's not a perfect circle, because when you paint, you can actually paint right over it and make it as good as you want. So I'm going to come around right here on the side. So this way it looks like it's 3D. And what I'm going to do is bubble him around like that. And again, I just want a guideline of where I want my lines to be. And then same thing, I'm going to start about right here, like so. So as I can see, I'm also doing this kind of backwards. So I need to come down here a bit more. There we go. So I'm happy with how he looks. So then I'm going to draw on his hat. And this is super easy. Hold on, now I have a little bit of paint on my pencil. So what we do is all you have to do is do a little line like that. You come up on each side, match that parallel line, and then you're going to create a bump. Now yours again could be however you want your hat to be. If you don't want a round hat, you can have whatever kind of hat you want. And then there's a pom-pom up here, but I'm not worried about that because I'm going to put that in with the paint after. So another thing is he has a scarf on, and this is super easy too. You just have to go like this, come up and meet like that. Make it a little tassel. There we go. Now the arms and everything I'm going to add in after. So for this time I'm going to use a smaller brush. So I have a smaller brush here. And the first coat of your snowman, you're just going to do all white, okay? Making sure your background is dry first. And there's many ways to do this. Like I said, I'm just a guideline. You can paint however you want. So I'm just going to pause here because there's no need of you watching me paint white. And I'll pop back in a second. You guys go ahead and do your first coat of white on your snowman, and I'll be back in a sec. All right, so now we're back. I have one coat done on my snowman, but I wanted to come back to show you how to do the second coat because it's very similar to the snow at the bottom. So what you're going to want to do is quickly put on that second coat of white, because we still want it to be kind of wet, and we're going to add a bit of light blue. So you can mix a little bit of that blue and that white, but you want it to be fairly light. So if you can see, I have this part here mixed up. So it's just a little bit of a light blue. And what I want to do is put that wherever there's a shadow and kind of swirl it as you go. So under the hat there will be a little bit of a shadow. So I'm going to come along here, and then I'm going to come along here, and see how I'm going in the direction of the snowman. So if you're doing a circle and then you start going across, you're not going to have that depth. So when we do a circular motion, we want to follow that circular motion. So over here a little bit, oh, that might be a little too blue. That's okay. No mistakes in art, just happy little accidents. So there we go. I'm going to come along here. All right. So we're getting there. So just go back and forth between your white and your blue. So see how now I'm starting to get some shading in there? Wherever you think there would be like a shadow. So if my light source was coming this way, this side would be shadowed. And I'm just blending with just white to soften up those lines. Again, going in that circular motion. There we go. So look how cute he's looking. All right, so now my snowman is done. So I'm going to get some red here now. Well, the doorbell's going all day. All right. Again, rinsed out my brush the best I can. Dipped it into the paper towel, get off any excess water. And then I have a little bit of red here on my brush. And I'm just going to fill in the hat. Like so. And remember, your hat could be any shape you want. I kind of like this rounded shape. All right. Oh, we got some Spice Girls on the radio. They were actually playing New Kids on the Block earlier. It was pretty good. All right. So see how I have that red in there? Just like that. So for this next part, for his brim, what I'm going to do is put a little bit of red on my palette and a small amount of black. And when I say a small amount of black, I mean a speck. Because we just want that red to be slightly darker. See, we could tell what is the part that rolls up. I don't even know if that has a name. There we go. There we go. And just take your time. Here we go. Look, that cute little hat. So for the tassels that are at the top, I'm going to dip into my red, but I'm going to flatten out my brush. So see here, when I want to flatten out my brush, I just dab it this way, and it kind of flattens it out with the paint still on it. And what I'm going to do is, with motions that go up like this, I'm going to flick up. I'm going to have to block it for a second, sorry. But I'm going to kind of make it like a pom-pom on the top. There we go. Now look how cute that is. So I'm also going to do his scarf red. There we go. And you're just going to do the same thing. Just follow those lines. Go slow. Take your time. Don't forget, you can always pause this video. You can come back to it later. You can work on it whenever you want. There we go. So now I'm just going to do down here.
So that just got like a bag of stuffing.
There we go. So you're going to come on down. There we go. So see how it has a little tassel there on the bottom? So for this one, for this side, I'm going to do the same thing as I did up here and just add in that little slight amount, where's my camera, of black again into my red, just to make it a little deeper. And I'm going to do that color on this one. There we go. There we go. Look how cute. All right, so for the tassels, the same thing. I'm just going to flick my hand out like that. See, I'll show you there. I'll give you a close-up once I get it done. Can you see that? That's all you're going to do. Just kind of flick down and let your brush run out of paint. All right. Now I have a super easy little trick. Oh, we might have to do his nose first. So I'm going to get my pencil. Let me bring up the picture again so I know which direction his nose goes in. All right. So for the carrot nose, you're going to do like a semicircle kind of line. And then you're going to meet it like that. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Then we're going to fill that in with orange. So I'm just going to do a little bit. Oh, look at that cute little nose. Okay, so now is the easy part. We're going to do his eyes and his mouth. And what we're going to do is use the back of our brush. And just dip it into the black. Just enough. We don't need much. And I'm going to give him 2 eyes. Just like that. And now I'm going to do a mouth. So in order to make sure your mouth is straight, I'm going to come down from the middle. And I'm going to do one in the middle first. And then I'm going to come up this side. Look how cute. I'm going to do the same thing for the buttons. We're almost done. So now I'm going to do the arms, and I'm flattening out my brush again with a bit of black on it. And I'm going to make some arms. Just like that. And just like that. I'm going to make this one like a branch and a branch. See, busy, busy day today. Look how cute. So the last step here before we write on it is to do some snow. So for this one, I'm going to use my bigger brush with the bigger bottom part. And I'm going to dip into my white, and I'm just going to put snow everywhere, all over the place, until it's all filled out. Oop. You can also extend it out to the sides if you like. So I'm going to have to pause again because our last step is to write on it. And yours can say whatever you want it to. I'm going to write "Let It Snow." But again, yours can say whatever you want it to. If you want yours to say like Winter Wonderland or anything like that, you can. You could even, if it's your bedroom, you can do like Vicky's room or whatever your name is and hang it on your door. There's so many different options. So I'll just pause here for a second and I'll come back. I will tell you it's super easy if you have a Sharpie. So if you have a Sharpie at home or you have a steady hand with your paintbrush, either way. So I'll come back now once my snowflakes are dry and we'll be able to write on it. Now is the last step. I'm going to use a Sharpie for mine. But again, if you have a steady hand, you can do that, or you can use your Sharpie. It's totally up to you. If you have a different color Sharpie, you can do that. If you have fancy writing, it doesn't matter as long as it's in your own handwriting. So I'm going to say, and again, I'm trying to do this a little bit backwards, but I'm going to do mine probably in block letters. So I'm going to say L. E. T. I know it's backwards on the video, but you get it. Then I'm going to do maybe a lowercase. And then I'm going to do maybe some fancy writing. Just like that. So we're all done. The most important thing is to always, you can sign your artwork, but the most important rule we have here at Get Messy is to have fun. So we can't wait to get messy with you another day and keep an eye out for more videos. Thanks from Get Messy.